If your friends would be in danger if you were not with them. The pursuit would follow you and leave us in peace, I think. It is you, Frodo, and that which you bear that brings us all on your peril. To that Frodo had no answer. He was persuaded to mount Glorfindel's white horse. The pony was laden instead with a great part of the other's burdens, so that they now marched lighter, and for a time made good speed. But the hobbit began to find it hard to keep up with the swift, tireless feet of the elf. On he led them into the mouth of darkness, and still on under the deep cloud night. There was neither star nor moon, not until grey of dawn, until did he allow them to halt. Pippin, Merry, and Sam were by that time nearly asleep on their stumbling legs, and even Strider seemed by the sag of his shoulders to be weary. Frodo sat upon the horse in a dark dream. They cast themselves down in the heather a few yards from the road side, and fell asleep immediately. They seemed hardly to have closed their eyes when Glorfindel, who had set himself to watch while they slept, awoke them again. The sun had now climbed far into the morning, and the clouds and mists of the night were gone. Drink this, said Glorfindel to them, pouring for each in turn a little liquor from his silver-studded flask of leather. It was clear as spring water and had no taste. It did not feel either cool or warm in the mouth, but strength and vigor seemed to flow into all their limbs as they drank it. Eaten after that draught, the stale bread and dried fruit, which was now all that they had left, seemed to satisfy their hunger better than many good breakfasts in the Shire had done. They had rested rather less than 5 hours when they took to the road. Glorfindel still urged them on and only allowed 2 brief halts during the day's march. In this way, they covered almost 20 miles before nightfall and came to a point where the road bent right and ran down towards the bottom of the valley, now making straight for the Bruin. So far, there had been no sign or sound of pursuit that the hobbits could see or hear, but often Glorfindel would halt and listen for a moment if they lagged behind, and a look of anxiety clouded his face. Once or twice he spoke to Strider in an elf tongue, but however anxious their guides might be, it was plain that the hobbits could go no further than night. They were stumbling along dizzy with weariness and unable to think of anything but their feet and legs. Frodo's pain had redoubled, and during the day things about him faded to shadows of ghostly gray. He almost welcomed the coming of night, for then the world seemed less pale and empty. The hobbits were still wary. When they set out again early next morning, there were many miles yet to go between them and the ford, and they hobbled forward at the best pace they could manage. Our peril will be greatest just ere we reach the river, said Glorfindel, for my heart warns me that the pursuit is now swift behind us, and the other danger may be waiting by the ford. The road was still running steadily downhill, and there was now in places with much grass on either side, in which the hobbits walked when they could, to ease their tired feet. In the late afternoon they came to a place where the road went suddenly under the dark shadow of tall pine trees, and then plunged into a deep cutting with steep, moist walls of red stones. Echoes ran along as I heard forward, and there seemed to be a sound of many footfalls, following their own all at once. All at once, as if through a gate of light, the road ran out again from the end of the tunnel into the open. There at the bottom of a sharp incline, they saw before them a long flat mile, and beyond that the ford of Rivendell. On the further side was a steep brown bank, threaded by a winding path, and behind that the tall mountains climbed, shoulder above shoulder, and peak beyond peak into the fading sky. 3 more pages, guys. I'm done. I'm done book 1, guys, after this. There was still an echo as of falling feet in the cutting behind them, a rushing noise as if a wind were rising and pouring through the branches of the pines. One moment Glorfindel turned and listened, then he sprang forward with a loud cry. Fly, he called, fly! The enemy is upon us! The white horse leaped forward. The hobbits ran down the slope. Glorfindel and Strider followed as rearguard. They were only halfway across the flat, when suddenly there was a noise of horse galloping. Out of the gate in the trees that they had just left rode a black rider. So the black riders are on their tail, obviously. So in the movie, Arwen takes Frodo to Rivendell, obviously. Whereas in the book, Frodo goes with all the hobbits and Strider to the ford to Rivendell. Whereas in the movie, Arwen takes Frodo to Rivendell alone, obviously, and the hobbits follow them along, obviously, and they end up going to Rivendell, arriving to Rivendell too, obviously. The hobbits ran down the slope. Glorfindel and Strider followed as rearguard. They were only halfway across the flat when suddenly there was a noise of horse galloping. Out of the gate in the trees that they had just left rode a black rider. He reined his horse in and halted, swaying in his saddle. Another followed him, and then another, then again 2 more. Obviously, so there were 5 of them, right? Ride forward, ride, cried Glorfindel to Frodo. He did not obey at once, for a strange reluctance seized him. Checking the horse to a walk, he turned and looked back. The riders seemed to sit upon their great steeds like threatening statues upon a hill, dark and solid. White all the woods and land about them receded as if into a mist. Suddenly he knew in his heart that they were silently commanding him to wait. Not once fear and hatred awoke in him. His hand left the bridle and gripped the hilt of his sword, and with a red flash he drew it. Ride on, cried Wolfenhill, and then loud and clear he called to the horse of the Outtung, Nor Lim, Asfaloth. At once the white horse sprang. Remember in the movie Arwen, Peter Jackson takes these words and he has Arwen speak the words. Remember Arwen? Nor Lim, Asfalath. And the white horse rides faster when the black riders are chasing them. Yeah, Peter Jackson took this tongue, and he had what? He had Arwen say that in the movie, obviously. I told you the book is a lot of things that are in the movie are in the book are cut out. You guys see what I mean? As Glorfindel takes Frodo to Rivendell, it's not Arwen. Glorfindel takes Frodo to Rivendell, whereas in the movie they have Arwen take Frodo to Rivendell, right? At once the white horse sprang away and sped like the wind along the last lap of the road. At the same moment, the black horses leaped down the hill in pursuit. From the riders came a terrible cry, such as Frodo had heard filling the woods with horror in the east farthing far away. It was answered, to the dismay of Frodo and his friends. Out from the trees and rocks away on the left, 4 other riders came flying. 2 rode towards Frodo, 2 galloped madly towards the ford to cut off his escape. They seemed to him to run like the wind. They grow swiftly larger and darker as their course converged with his. 2 more pages here, guys. And I am done here, guys. I am done book 1 after this. Frodo looked back for a moment over his shoulder. He could no longer see his friends. The riders behind were falling back. Even the great steeds were no match in speed for the white elf horse of Glorfindel. He looked forward again and hoped faded. There seemed no chance of reaching the ford before he was cut off by the others that had lain in ambush. He could set them clearly now. They appeared to have cast aside their hoods and black cloaks, and they were robed in white and grey. Swords were naked in their pale hands. Helms were on their heads. The cold eyes glittered, and they called to him with fell voices. Fear now filled all Frodo's mind. He thought no longer of his sword. He thought no longer of his sword. No cry came over him. He shut his eyes and clung to his horse's mane. The wind whistled in his ears, and the bells upon the harness rang wild and shrill. A breath of deadly cold pierced him like a spear, as with a last spurt, like a flash of white fire. The elf horse, speeding as if on wings, passed right before the face of the foremost rider. Frodo heard the splash of water. It foamed about his feet. He felt a quick heave and surge as the horse left the river and struggled up the stony path. He was climbing the steep bank. He was across the ford, but the pursuers were close behind. At the top of the bank, the horse halted and turned about, neighing fiercely. There were 9 riders at the water's edge. So 9 riders are on Frodo's tail, obviously, right? Frodo and Glorfindel's tail. And Frodo's spirit quailed before the threat of their uplifted faces. He knew of nothing that would prevent them from crossing as easy as he had done, and he felt that it was useless to try to escape over the long, uncertain path from the ford to the edge of Rivendell. Once the riders crossed, in any case, he felt that he was commanded urgently to halt. Hatred again stirred in him, but he had no longer the strength to refuse. Suddenly, the foremost rider spurred his horse forward. It checked at the water and reared up. With a great effort, Frodo sat upright and brandished his sword. See what I'm saying here? Frodo in the book is brave, whereas in the movie he's a wuss. The riders are on Frodo's tail, and Frodo draws out his sword. He confronts the 9 riders. Yeah, because Frodo was a badass in the book, whereas in the movie he's a fucking wuss. You know what I'm saying, go back, he cried. Go back to the land of Mordor. You know what I'm saying? And follow me no more. See, Frodo's brave, obviously. His voice sounded him and thin and shrill in his own ears. The riders halted, but Frodo had not the power of Bombadil. His enemies laughed at him with a harsh and chilling laughter. Come back, they called. To Mordor we will take you. Go back, he whispered. See how Frodo is responding to the ravens? Go back to Mordor. Go back to where you came from, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Frodo is a badass in the book, whereas in the movie he's a wuss. Yeah, man. Go back, he whispered. The ring, they cried with deadly voices, and immediately their leader urged his horse forward into the water, followed close by 2 others. By Elbereth and Luthien the Fair, said Frodo with a last effort, lifting up his sword. You shall have neither the ring nor me. See, Frodo was confronting them, obviously. Bravery, obviously. Then the leader, who was now half across the ford, stood up, menacing in his stirrups, and raised up his hand. Frodo was stricken dumb. He felt his tongue cleave to his mouth, and his heart laboring. His sword broke and fell out of his shaking hands. The elf horse reared and snorted. The foremost of the black riders had almost set foot upon the shore. At that moment there came a roaring and rushing, a noise of loud waters rolling. The magic river, right? Remember that scene in the movie when you have the magic horses? The magic river horses? That's what Peter Jackson got this idea in the book, obviously. Dimly Frodo saw the river below him rise, and down along its course there came a plumb cavalry of waves. White flames seemed to Frodo to flicker on their crests, and he half fancied that he saw amid the water white riders upon white horses with frothing manes. The 3 riders that were still in the midst of the ford were overwhelmed. They disappeared, buried suddenly under angry foam. Those that were behind drew back in dismay. With his last filling senses, Frodo heard cries, and it seemed to him what that he saw. Beyond the rise of Heston on the shore, a shining figure of white light, and behind it ran a small shadowy form of waving flames that flared red in the gray mist that was falling over the world. The black horses were filled with madness, and leaping forward in terror, they bore their riders into the rushing flood. Their piercing cries were drowned in the roaring of the river. As it carried them away, then Frodo felt himself falling, and the roaring and confusion seemed to rise and engulf him together with his enemies. He heard and saw no more. This is it, guys. I am done, book 1. I am now what? Book 2. So I am done my Lord of the Rings book 1 read-along, guys. Yay! I did it. I guarantee you, all you Lord of the Rings fans are happy. Oh my god, I haven't read all of book 1. Yes, I read all of book 1. I officially finished all of Lord of the Rings. And I'm not reading any more Lord of the Rings, guys. I am done. I read to you all of book 1. So Frodo and them take the journey to Ford. He goes with Glorfindel, obviously, and the ring race are on Frodo's tail, obviously. When Frodo crosses the river through the ford, he draws his sword and confronts the ring race. Go back to Mordor, you know what I'm saying? And then the ring race crosses the river, and then you get the magic river horses. The magic river horses, they engulf the ring race, obviously. And then book 2 is when Frodo was in Rivendell and they had many meetings. Right? When Frodo was in Rivendell, he meets the hobbits, he meets Strider, he meets Legolas and all the other people, obviously. And I am done. Lord of the Rings. I am not reading any more Lord of the Rings, guys. I read you all of book 1. You guys got a gist of book 1, but I'm not reading any more Lord of the Rings for you guys. I am done. And I actually did it. I read all of book 1 for you guys. And you guys all remember, I remember when Ivan started the prologue and he read all of book 1 for us. Yes, I read all of Lord of the Rings book 1 for you. 280 some pages I read. Just give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna shut the laundry door. Yeah, I don't want you guys hearing that noise. That's why I shut the laundry room door, right? Yeah, guys, I finished Lord of the Rings. I am done. Now, so for the remaining days before my final announcement, I'll be pumping out side videos. I'll think about topics to talk about. I'll talk about Sky. I might talk about Peter Jackson, Will Gibson, perhaps. I can talk about that. Change the topic, obviously. I already talked about that, though. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. Stay tuned for my video tomorrow, guys. I'll be talking about my 3 movies. They're unique. The Great Escape movie and the Hidden Valley movie. All the ideas I have for that movie. I'm going to dedicate 2 hours talking in depth about about my movie, my ideas for the movie, obviously. You go, holy shit, Ivan, you're creative. Yes, I am very creative. I was born with a gift, obviously. I have all these pictures in my mind. I'm not going to say I have an unlimited imagination, but I have a big imagination. So when I said, yeah. Well, no, great storytellers have an unlimited imagination. That's why they're able to tell good stories, obviously. I have an unlimited imagination. I have so many ideas in my mind. I just have I come up with an amazing story because I was born with a gift, obviously. I was born with a gift. A creative gift. You see what I'm saying here? And yeah. So I don't know, for today's video, I can talk about, I don't know, what should I talk about today, guys? You want me to keep talking about Sky, so I can talk about Sky Source. Or I can talk about Peter Jackson, Mel Gibson. I already made a video about this, though. I already talked about this for 30 minutes. High chance those 2 directors will be hired. One of those 2 directors will be hired. I already talked about that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what to talk about, man. But let me keep saying this, man. Going back to the Steph families. Once I make that final analysis, which is a good chance in a good 2 weeks from now, they're going to send me upstairs. And I let them know, hey guys, I've done my book. I want to get my book self-published on Lulu. I am going to be so shocked by their wealth. And I'm gonna keep saying this. I'm gonna have that flashback of my life. That family who used to come over to our house for Christmas. We came over to their house for Christmas. That we went from 2001 all the way to 2013. There was this family. They're good friends of ours. Obviously, we went over to their house for Christmas. They came over to our house for Christmas. Every Christmas, obviously. We also went over to their house a lot of times for barbecues. We went swimming. They came over to our house for swimming. We had barbecues at our house. A lot of good moments, obviously. Obviously, that family, you know who you are. You knew I was the son of God. You knew my family was gatekeepers. You knew the doors were locked to me. You knew I was serving for my wife. You knew I was God. And none of you guys even bothered to even tell me, hey, Ivan, I have something to tell you, man. Your family locked the doors on you to the gatekeepers, but no, you guys kept it from me because you guys are all part of the plot protectors. One, you don't want to be my wife, obviously. And so I shut you guys up for good. All you people who you think are good people, they're not good people. They're wicked people, obviously. As I would never do this to someone else. That's fucking evil, man. Fucking evil. I'm gonna have that flashback of all my so-called friends in Darcy, who knew my family was the gatekeepers. They knew I was rich. They knew I had the son of God. They knew I was living the ghetto life. They knew the doors were locked on me, and none of them knew I had a wife. And none of those guys even bothered to make mention of that to me because they're all wicked people, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And all these guys used to brag about how rich all these people were. I shut them up for good, as I'm going to be richer than all those guys by a milestone. By a milestone. As I told you, because I'm a son of God, I'm not supposed to be living the ghetto life in this middle class. I'm supposed to be living the billionaire life. They all knew, yeah, because Ivan's the son of God, he's supposed to be living the billionaire life with the gatekeepers. Ivan and Reader are supposed to be living the billionaire life with the gatekeepers, but they hid their wealth and locked the doors on Ivan. They betrayed Ivan. Yeah. I'm not supposed to be living in this neighborhood, man. Even though this is a nice neighborhood, I'm not supposed to be living in this neighborhood with all these normal people. No, I'm supposed to be living the celeb life, the billionaire life, the billionaire life, obviously. But the step families hid their wealth and locked the doors on me. Why? They betrayed us, obviously. Hence, I shut all those teachers who put me in detention for skipping class, who yelled at me for talking class, who yelled at me for not doing my homework, knowing that the doors are locked on me. I shut them up for good. As me, even if I studied, they still would have silenced my marks. Hence what? Ivan is innocent. I was innocent. Yeah, I'm innocent. You know, Ivan, you're fucking innocent. Yes. Me skipping class, me skipping detention, you know what I'm saying? Innocent because the whole time the doors were locked on me, obviously. So it doesn't, so in other words, it doesn't matter. If I choose to skip class or do my homework, it won't make a difference. The doors are locked on me either way, obviously. As Ivan O'Mara is innocent. I'm fucking innocent. All those teachers in Darcy, they're all wicked people. You guys all knew I was the son of God, man. You can't deny it. You knew I was the son of God. You knew that my family were the gatekeepers. You knew I had a wife and I was separate from her. You knew the doors were locked on me. You knew I had the keys. You knew I was lost. And yet none of you guys even bothered to make mention out to me. Hey, man, I gotta tell you something, man. Your family are fucking rich. The gatekeepers are just acting. They locked all the doors on you, man. Like, none of you guys even bothered to bring me over here. And I gotta tell you something, man. You kept it from me. Why? Because you guys are all wicked people. You're all part of the plot. But Texas went, hopefully Ivan stays lost till he's like 40, 50 years old. He never gets to be with his wife and he's poor. You guys are fucking evil people, man. Because I have God protecting my journey, at 26 years old, what? I woke up. You see what I'm saying here? Because God was protecting me. You know, Ivan, even if they knock you out, I'm going to protect you. Don't worry about it. You're going to find out about your wife. You're going to find that you have the keys. You're going to find that you figure out your family's gatekeepers. Yes, I figured it out. If I'm God, that means if I'm God and I'm supernaturally created, that means my family are not my real family. They're my step family, obviously. Okay, there has to be a significance of me being born into this world, born into this family, obviously. And I figured out, okay, if my YouTube channel has 3 subscribers, and so doors, and I have the keys, the doors are all, everyone's watching the reels, the doors are obviously locked on me. I figured it out, obviously. There has to be a significance of me being born. I must be born to a rich family if I'm God. And I figured out, yeah, my family are the gatekeepers. VJ's family are the gatekeepers too. There's a reason why, as God, we're born to these families, because these families are the gatekeepers to open doors to fame, wealth, and success, obviously. They're the gatekeepers, obviously. I figured it out, man. And that's what all the people who knew in my life, who I worked with, all you guys at Cora's, Bear Market, you guys know who you are. Quiznos, you know what I'm saying? Quiznos, all you guys at Quiznos, all you guys at Weedman, you guys don't know who you are, who are going to watch my videos, obviously. You guys all knew I was God. You knew I was lost. You knew I had a wife. I'm sorry for my wife. And you all knew the doors were locked. And none of you guys even bothered to mention, hey, I got to tell you something, man. Your family are the gatekeepers. None of you guys, the fact that nobody in my life even bothered to even make mention of that to me, it shows how wicked you world really are, man. You guys are fucking wicked people. You're evil people and you're wicked people. That's why once I'm Kane, I'm living life with my wife, a lot of people in Darcy who knew me, who all my so-called friends, some of them might even cry. But it's finding his holy shit, man. We're fucking evil people, man. When Ivan was lost, you know what I'm saying? We knew his family were the gatekeepers. We knew they were fucking loaded and he was poor. You know, so we knew the doors were locked and we knew he served his wife. We didn't even bother to tell him. So we're fucking evil people. Yeah, man. You guys are fucking evil people. All the teachers at Heritage, I shut them up for good. Academic integrity. I shut Heritage up for good. Your academic integrity is bullshit. You guys sabotage my marks, and I shut you off for good. Obviously, your academic, not the academic integrity they read at Heritage is all bullshit. As I shut Heritage up for good. Obviously, I'm a fucking genius. Obviously, because when it comes to Ivan and Mary, you're willing to break every moral code in the book. You guys are willing to break every moral code in the book. You don't care because you just don't. You're so consumed with your envy. You don't want me and VJ being together because you guys are crazy people. Obviously, you're nothing but a mess of white men. Shut all those teachers up for good at Heritage. Shut all those Darcy teachers up for good. That vice principal, I shut him up for good. Yelling at me for skipping class. And skipping, I like, when I mean yelled at me, he yelled at me. Ivan, you shouldn't skip detention. You shouldn't skip class. What about you? You knew the doors were locked on me. You knew I was the son of God. You knew my family was gatekeepers. And you didn't bother to tell me. That's why I shut you up for good, obviously. All these people at Darcy, who I worked with, all you guys at Chorus, you guys know who you are, who I worked with. You guys all knew I was the son of God. You knew I had a wife. You knew I was lost. You knew the doors were locked on you. When none of you guys even bothered to make mention of me. Yeah, Ivan, man, I gotta tell you something. The doors are locked on you. You have a wife. You're sorry for your wife. None of you guys bothered to tell me that. All you guys at Torsta Security. I work security. Torsta Security. Capital Security. You guys all knew I was God. You knew I was the son of God. You knew the doors were locked on me. And none of you guys even bothered to make mention of that. Mention that to me. That what? The doors are locked on me. Because you guys are all what? You're wicked people. You're all a part of the plot, obviously. Hence why, when I'm king and wife's king with me, everyone who I knew in my life, as well as you, world, you're all left behind. You're not saved, obviously. You won't be saved. You'll be left behind, obviously. And you get what you fucking deserve. I'm gonna keep saying that. See, Ivan, you're ticked off. Yes, I'm ticked off because once I find out how rich my family is, I'm gonna have that flashback of my life, man. I'm gonna have that flashback of my life about all the people who I met in my life. Oh my God, they all knew I was God. They all knew I had a wife. They all knew the doors were locked. But yeah. All knew, all the people who I played football. I played football in my younger days, in my teen days, obviously. They all knew I was God. They all knew my family were the gatekeepers too. Obviously, right? The NCAFA league I played for, right? You guys all knew the doors were locked when you knew my family was the gatekeepers, and none of you guys, you knew I was sorry for my wife, and none of you guys even bothered to make mention of that to me. Why? Because they're all wicked people. You guys are all part of the plot. Protect us one. You don't want me to be my wife, obviously. Because you guys are all what? You're all wicked people. And that's why you don't deserve to be saved. You're going to be left behind. You're not going to be saved, obviously. But I keep saying that. Hence why Victoria Justice and all you guys in Hollywood, you guys all knew VJ's mother was a gatekeeper. VJ's stepfather were the gatekeepers too. You knew that. And you kept that from VJ, obviously. You knew you had VJ be a porn star to cause mess in Ivan's life. You guys purpose brag, I banged VJ, and you set the whole thing up for her. Had you not started me here, this mess never would have happened. You knew that the VJ's family were the gatekeepers. You know what I'm saying? You knew the doors were locked on VJ. VJ didn't. That's why VJ does shitty indie movies. And none of you guys even bothered to tell VJ, hey VJ, I gotta tell you something. Your family are the gatekeepers. The people, your family are not who you think you are. Your mother is a gatekeeper. She owns Hollywood. She's the one running all your porn business, running your what? Running Hollywood. Yeah. None of those Hollywood actors, none of those Hollywood stars even bothered to let VJ know, hey VJ, your family here. Was why? Because they're all part of the plot protection. They don't want VJ being with me, obviously. Because you guys are all what? Wicked people, obviously. Hence why VJ cries every night. Because she can't see me, obviously. At the same time, I open her eyes, obviously. And VJ is waiting for me. And VJ knows what I have to go through to save her. You see what I'm saying her? VJ knows what I have to go through to save her ass, obviously. Hence why once I pay this fee, Victoria Justice is running away with me, obviously. She's running the fuck away with me, and I'm running away with her, obviously. And I told you need to really love a man to run away with another man. Because I'm very special, obviously, and I would never run away with any other woman except for VJ. VJ is the only woman I can run away with. Because VJ is very special, obviously. VJ is the only woman I can abandon everything in my life and run away because VJ is very, very special, obviously. I'd run away with her in a heartbeat. Abandon all my so-called friends. I would abandon everything in my life. All my so-called friends, my family. I would abandon all that just to be with VJ forever. And then run away with her because VJ is very special, obviously. Just like VJ's want to do that for me, obviously. VJ's willing to do that for me because VJ loves me so much. And I love her so much too, obviously. VJ, I'm willing to run away with VJ and abandon everything in my life to be with VJ, obviously, because VJ is very special, obviously. The fact that VJ is literally abandoning everything in her life, she's abandoning her family because her family's wicked, obviously. I set everything up where I and VJ have to abandon the families. Her family's wicked. VJ is abandoning her family, all her so-called friends who she hangs out with. She's abandoning all those people and she's running away with me, obviously. And I'm abandoning everything I'm abandoning all my family members, everything in my life, and I'm running away with VJ. Because me and VJ are inseparable. We're lovebirds, obviously. We're lovebirds. Obviously. Hence, VJ is obviously playing along with VJ. Your eyes are open. VJ knows her family's rich now. Obviously, I opened her eyes. Obviously, VJ is just playing along because I haven't saved her yet. VJ still has to act. Obviously, just like the stepfamilies are acting around VJ. VJ is obviously acting. She's playing along, obviously. But once her true nature shows, they're guaranteed gonna have that argument, and VJ is gonna be waiting for me. VJ is fucking waiting for me, man. She's going, oh, Ivan, just finish your book so we can live the life, man. VJ is waiting for me, man. VJ is waiting for her husband. I'm waiting, and I can't wait to see you too, sweetie. I can't wait to see you too, sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? VJ is waiting for me. Yeah, man. That's why once I'm king and my wife's king with me, you guys are gonna get what you fucking deserve. You're gonna be left behind and bad, my God. You're not gonna be saved, obviously, because you guys are fucking wicked people. You're wolves in sheep's clothing. You're actors. You act like good people, but you're what? Your actions show that what? You're wicked people. You're willing to keep me lost. So you guys knew the whole time I was lost. You knew I had a wife. You knew the doors were locked on me, and none of you guys even bothered to say, "Hey, all right, man, I gotta tell you something, man." None of you guys even bothered to let me know why, because you guys are wicked people. You're all a part of the plot. Protect Zone One, obviously. You're fucking evil people, man. Imagine had I not woken up. To this day, I'd still be lost. And that was your plan. Hopefully, Ivan's lost till he's like 40 or 50 years old. He forgets about his wife, and you keep him poor. You know what I'm saying? He ages and he's poor, obviously. He sits in his basement, he's poor. That was your plan, obviously. But because God was protecting my journey, at 26 years old, I woke up, obviously. My wife woke me up too, obviously. It's me. You know what I'm saying? It's me. I'm like, oh my God, is VJ speaking to me? Ivan, it's me. I'm your wife. You know what I'm saying? I figured it out, obviously. And okay, if I'm white, she's N, obviously. Okay, if she's my wife, then why are we separate? Yeah, the world's envious. If the world's envious, chances are they're going to do something to harm. They're going to harm my relationship. I figured it out, yes. I have a feeling the world's covering up something horrific. And I figured it out, the mess. The mess happened in Hollywood. I figured it out, man. The mess happened in Hollywood. I'm like, yeah. If the world's envious, they're definitely going to cause harm. All those animals in Hollywood are going to go after VJ. A hot chick like that, they're all going to go after her. I figured it out. The mess happened in Hollywood. Yes. You guys are envious of my relationship. Hence why you got all you assholes in Hollywood. You went after my wife and you got your trashy sex and you rip off sex, obviously. And she got what you fucking deserve. Now, okay, if the world's envious of our relationship, chances are they're gonna also have me have sex with a woman too. I figured it out. Yeah, the Lords are locking me. They're gonna have me pay a fee for my book. They're gonna turn me into porn. So I figured it out. Yeah, because the world's envious, the world sees hell. They want to see me have sex so bad. Handsome man like me, hence are obviously what? They're gonna force me to be a porn star, obviously. I figured it out. Yeah, man. You guys want to see me and VJ have sex. You want to cause mess in our lives. And also kill me to be my wife as my friend. You're gonna try me with sugar and death. Yeah, I figured it out. You can't do God here, man. Because before I came here, I wrote my own story. Look, man, you can knock me out if you want to. I'm still gonna find out about VJ. And I'm gonna find out about the puzzle piece of the whole game. Because God's protecting my journey, obviously. As before I came here, I told you I wrote my own story. Me and VJ wrote our own story before we came here, man. When we come to Earth, the world's going to be envious. They're going to cause mess in their lives. They're going to kill me to be with you. And once we're king and queen, they're left behind. They're not saved. Yeah. I wrote an amazing story, obviously. And you can't dupe God. You cannot dupe God here, guys. Obviously. Hence why all the people who knew me in my life, people in Darcy, Lisgar, York, Herbert Purcell, St. Pius, Heritage, Algonquin College, Algonquin College, right? All those guys who were in my class, obviously. You guys will all remember me very well, obviously. All the people who I worked with throughout my life. Cora's, Quiznos, Beer Market, Weedman. You know what I'm saying? Weedman, Bell. I worked for Bell, obviously. I did door-to-door sales for Bell, obviously. Those, you guys will remember me too, obviously. Everyone in my life where I worked, all these places I worked at, Torsa Security. You guys will all remember me when I'm king and my wife's king with me. You guys will all remember me, obviously. You know, Ivan used to work here. You know what I'm saying? He was a security. He used to work security for us. You guys are Torsa Security. You're all gonna tell the employees. Yeah, Ivan used to work here. He used to work security. Blues Fest, all that stuff. All you guys at Coors, you're all like, yeah, Ivan. I worked with Ivan, man. Ivan worked at Coors. Ivan was my best. All my old bosses. Yeah, Ivan used to work at Coors. Ivan was my best dishwasher at Coors. Yeah, man. You guys are all gonna tell the people that. all you teachers at Darcy are gonna tell the future generation of Darcy students. I don't know, next year in 2022, if I'm King. You know, Ivan came here like 14, 15 years ago. He came to Darcy. He was a horrible student. I'm saying Ivan came here. Ivan was a horrible student. He was able to write a novel like this. Yeah, Ivan was a horrible student. He didn't do his homework. He skipped class. Ivan was a horrible student. He was able to write a masterpiece like this. Yeah, there was a lot of these students are going to be shocked that was a horrible student. Ivan was a horrible student. He was able to write a novel like this. He was able to write a novel that us teachers can never write. I wrote a novel that these teachers Darcy can never write. As I challenge anyone to write a better fantasy novel than Last Roseanne, you can't. Last Roseanne is the best fantasy novel ever written. Much more confident.